Hi, I'm Joan Newcomb, and today's morning musings is It's All Happening at Once. I'm doing a series of daily morning musings, and I'm using posts from my blog, Adventures in Density and Effort, as inspiration. Now, I wrote these a while ago, and the world has completely changed since then. So if I encounter anything that is out of date, I will give you the most recent information, and at the end, I will summarize the topic based on all that's going on in the world today. Also, I have some special offers, so stay tuned to the very end to see what they are. It's all happening at once. In the physical, we exist within time and space. We experience ourselves moving from past to future. From this perspective, we think about our past lives and the ones to come. I used to do past life readings, and I'd look at them as grades in school, as if we progressed from one life to the next. At some point, I realized that as consciousness, there is no time or space. So, as consciousness, it's all happening at once. The Pope is simultaneously experiencing this lifetime as Pope and a past life, perhaps as a prostitute, and a future life as a dictator. This morning I came across a quote: "Neither do I believe anymore that we live out all our lives sequentially in linear time," which is the framework that many people have for their ideas about karma. It's what I was brought up to think as well. In the near-death experience state, however, I realized that every moment in all our lives, past, present, future, known, unknown, and unknowable, exists simultaneously, as though outside of what we know as time. I became aware that I already was everything I was trying to attain, and I believe that's true for everyone. All things that we perceive as positive, negative, good, or bad are simply parts of the perfect balanced whole. And that's by Anita Murjani. This blew my mind. I'd still been thinking linearly about our individual lives, that in this life we still experience it from start to finish, and as consciousness we're experiencing all our lives, past, present, and future at once. But I still thought of them as going from beginning to end. And an interesting aside, my book Tapestry of Time has characters who live outside of linear time. They weave in and out of time as we know it, so we may encounter them as an old person when we are young, but then encounter them as a young person when we're old. But they're still having a linear toddler to geriatric experience, just flowing through different times. After reading Rajani's quote, I spent several hours feeling very disoriented. Pieces of other times seemed to come into my consciousness, or maybe I just became more attuned to my consciousness in other times. I read her quote to my husband, who said, "What about free will? Does this mean everything is predestined?" Not exactly, because all possibilities exist at once. Each possibility is a different universe, a different thread in the tapestry. Our free will is that we can choose which thread we're experiencing at any moment. We can shift from one thread to another. As consciousness, we already know everything. There isn't any great lesson that we need to learn. Our bodies gain in knowledge and maturity, hopefully, but at our essence, we are the source of all information. A simple and yet playful way to experience this is to step to one side and back again. You have stepped over to a universe and back to your current one. You can play a game of hopscotch with the universe. If there's something that you want to be, you can jump into it or onto the square it represents. I did this once years ago to change my state of being. I was checking out of a hotel after a weekend intensive. I wanted a charge taken off my hotel bill, but in my exhausted state, I was barely coherent. As I stood in line waiting to speak to the desk clerk, I started stepping from side to side, testing the feeling of the different universes, until I stepped into one where I already had the outcome I desired. At that moment, a second person came out from the back and called me over, and they turned out to be the front desk manager and was able to make the change with no problem at all. This week, play with this technique. Imagine changing lanes on your freeway, or make up your own technique and see what happens. And let me know in the comments below if you do. I'd love to read your comments. So I tell you, when you start playing with reality this way, life becomes just a really fun game, and you're not trying to change, fix, or manipulate the outcome, and you're not trying to change, fix, or manipulate your storyline. You're just having the fun of operating as consciousness in this reality and realizing that this whole life is an adventure in density and effort. It's a Disneyland. So you start taking things less seriously and just start having more fun in the wonderfully imperfect aspect of life. So if you like these videos, please share them with your family and friends and on your social media. And please click the like button and follow or subscribe. And that way you're telling the algorithm to share this far and wide and get this out to someone who really needs to see this information. And if you want a free sample of one of my consciousness techniques, click on the link below to the skybox technique. It'll give you a drone's eye perspective of what's going on in your life and insights into how to operate as consciousness. consciousness. And if you want some manifestation techniques, click on the link below to Manifesting Money and Miracles. It's my self-study course where you can learn basic, simple, but incredibly potent energy techniques to completely transform your external reality. And if you'd like a reading or an energy session with me, click on the link below to my private sessions. They're a half an hour or an hour long, and I take a look at the essence of who you are and what's going on in your life today, and then I can answer any questions that you might have or help you make some significant energetic shifts in your life. And if you want to learn how to do this for yourself, Manifesting Money and Miracles is a great preparation for my coaching special, where I work with you one-on-one and give you specifically chosen consciousness techniques so that you can transform your life. And you can find out all about that at my website, joan-newcomb.com, and I'll see you tomorrow in another Morning Musings.